Welcome to Under the Rug at Work, where we shine light on things that are normally swept under the rug. Today, I'm chatting with Sarah Connelly about alcohol, safety, and work. Sarah is a grey area drinking and lifestyle coach, a speaker, and an educator. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to chat about this topic.
Hi, Nicole. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Before we dive into it, can you share a little bit about your background and what led you to focus on alcohol and its impact on people's lives?
Yes, it was a personal experience.
Mhm.
I was busy working, running a business, juggling the kids, sick parents, midlife, and I'd been drinking, from the age of about 17,
Mhm.
and had a great time. But as I got older and then life got more stressful, I was using alcohol in a way that was unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I knew for a very long time that it wasn't good for me. I knew it affected my mental health. I
Mhm.
felt shocking a lot of the time after drinking, but I was still drinking at a level at which was acceptable. People around me were drinking the same amount. There was no rock bottom car accident or anything dramatic,
Yeah.
other than this knowing that this alcohol is getting in the way of me actually being the person that I really want to be, being the parent, being the business owner, being
Mhm.
the fitness for my fitness, everything was being
Yeah.
impacted. And my father passed away quite suddenly, which led to my drinking getting pretty bad for me.
Yeah.
And I felt like I don't think I can go an evening without having a glass of wine
Mm.
or two, or maybe
Mhm.
three. And that didn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a problem. At the time, I didn't realize how much of a problem it was because the way I was drinking was very quote unquote normal.
Yeah.
But I made the decision to quit. I went into a 2 week rehab because I had no idea what else to do.
Mhm.
And I had tried on my own multiple times
Yep.
and failed. And after that experience, I was struck with the glaring obviousness of the fact that there are so many people like me out there who didn't want to go to AA, didn't want to go to rehab, weren't bad enough to go into some medical detox,
Yeah.
but had struggled to quit on their own and needed relatable support.
Mhm.
And because I had suffered so much, I decided to create a solution. And I had a background of counseling and coaching and really transformative work on people. And I decided to kind of combine all that and focus on helping high functioning drinkers to
Mhm.
optimize their health, mental, physical, and spiritual health. So
Yeah. Well, fantastic. It's almost like the universe set that up for
it
you.
felt like it. Actually, it felt like it.
Yeah.
It was a calling, really
Mm.
a strong calling.
Yeah. And a lot of what you were saying was I was nodding because it's something that I experienced as well. Like work got really stressful and I'd come home and need a glass of wine and you'd need it to unwind and de-stress, but then it would impact your sleep. And you, well, for me,
Mm.
I would wake up in the morning and feeling pretty terrible, but you'd have to drag yourself to work, not only because of the stressful work situation, but also because you weren't feeling great because you'd been drinking the night before.
Yeah.
And for me, I only needed one or two because I am smaller. So it impacted me as you know it would someone else drinking a bottle, so it was a little cheaper, but I found it was yeah really hindering my mental well-being. And I remember doing a detox and then trying like a 2 week detox, just health and well-being, and then trying to come back and have a glass of wine or whatever, and my body just went, we're not doing this anymore.
Wow.
And
Uh,
it said no, and I would feel even more terrible, and I would get a rash or hives or something, and it was it was my body's way of saying actually life is better without it. And my face changed, my energy changed, like didn't get blotchy anymore, and it was what needed to happen for me.
Yeah, isn't that fascinating that you got quite strong signals
Yes.
from your body? And I think in some ways that's almost lucky,
Yes.
because a lot of people don't get that. And so there's no real push to actually stop.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, many, as you described, are stuck in that cycle of waking up feeling foggy,
Mm.
unfocused, etc.,
Yeah.
promising that tonight they're not going to drink,
Or
but
just
it's
one.
or just one of the exhaustion of the day, the stress, and then it's like I'll start tomorrow,
Yeah.
and that cycle can go on for decades. Um,
Yeah. And
so
it's so ingrained in the Australian culture.
yeah,
And as you and I have both just said our examples, like we see it, and a lot of people see it as a stress reliever or a way to connect or just part of the work culture. Um, but there are really some hidden ways that alcohol undermine our well-being and safety at work. Can you share more on that?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt it's a short-term stress reliever. We
Mm,
can't deny it takes the edge off. What people don't really understand enough, I believe, is that not only is it affecting you after you're drinking, but it is slowly chipping away at all the things that we value in the workplace,
mm,
which is impulse control, emotional regulation, being clear of mind, not having that foggy or lack of motivation.
mm,
So, yes, a hangover is horrible, and it does, without doubt, impact your sleep, your ability to respond quickly, your reactivity, your level of exhaustion.
mm,
But that also compounds if you're drinking on a regular basis. So it's impossible to look at an individual who's been functioning and drinking and really understand what they're capable of,
mm.
because they're working at a 5 out of 10 at best. And this is the fascinating piece for me, because once somebody in a position where they have capabilities to make change and to do important, significant things in an organization stops drinking,
Mm.
you've already seen they can achieve. But what they can achieve when they're not drinking is extraordinary.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it.
There's this pool of untapped potential,
Yeah.
and what's underpinning it is this pull of alcohol, because these a lot of people do not know how to manage stress without it. They never got
Yeah.
taught or educated, and alcohol's normalized and it feels
Mm.
good short term, and we are creatures of instant gratification.
Yeah.
And so the impact, on safety specifically, I imagine is huge,
Yeah.
because you have to be laser focused, you have to be awake, you have
Hmm.
to be able to see multiple things at the same time in order to ensure your own and others' safety.
Mm.
If you are impacted by ongoing drinking, then your ability to do that optimally is severely impaired.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't think about that, but we do think about psychosocial hazards.
Right,
It, it's
right.
definitely growing for workplaces. It's a growing focus because of the legislation and all of the changes. Where does alcohol fit into the picture, and what risks should leaders and organizations be paying attention to? I think if we can link that for people, it
Yes.
might help solidify it and make it a bit easier to understand.
Well, it's the invisible hazard,
It is.
right? That underpins so many other psychosocial hazards, from mental well-being to safety practices, to people being on their game and not getting themselves into accidents. It impacts people taking time off work hugely. It impacts the way employees interact with one another, so it has a massive role in internal conflicts.
Yeah.
And we blame the individuals, but we're missing what's actually going on underneath.
Mm.
This individual is not operating at an optimal capacity. Many of them are dealing with massive anxiety,
Yeah.
unresolved trauma, issues at home. They're self-medicating,
Hmm.
and it's causing so many issues. It's at the root cause, I believe, of so many psychosocial issues.
Yeah.
Um, things like decision making, capacity to make conscious and thoughtful decisions is hugely impacted by long-term drinking.
Mm.
Not, as I say, it's not just after the fact. It starts to mess around with your brain chemistry and at
Yeah.
worst change the structure of your brain.
Wow.
So it's got the short-term relief reward.
Hmm.
We know that. But the long-term impact of regular drinking is not publicized enough,
Mm.
and it is hidden amidst all the glitzy marketing.
Yeah.
And organizations, through no fault of their own, but just through conditioning and societal norms, are using alcohol as entertainment and reward.
Hmm.
But at the same time, handling all the negative consequences of it at a root level.
Yeah.
So there's a fundamental shift that I believe that needs to happen. It's a mindset shift
Hmm.
that alcohol is not a natural, normal thing for people to do.
Mm.
We're not designed to drink it.
Yeah.
First time you drink it, you vomit. That's got to be a sign.
Mm.
Our body is not designed to absorb this substance. So a lot of people are very, very sick,
Yeah.
and it's easy to look at the individual and their behavior, but what's causing that behavior?
Yes. And we were talking earlier about before we press the record button about some of the clients that we're seeing and supporting, and some of them actually have coaching and mentoring and support provided for their organizations and workers who might be struggling, because they realize that that is the root cause of the issue, the reason for the conflict, the reason for the physical accidents, the reason for them not being their best is because they may have a drug or alcohol addiction. And what they do is, instead of trying to band-aid the symptom or punish the person, is try and look at that cause and support them as an individual to help them get the help that they need to be the best that they can be. So it's great to see some organizations looking at that, but it's not, unfortunately, part of the culture.
It's not yet, and I also think the way that we address it needs to change. And I don't know the organisations that you're speaking of, how they're addressing it, but what I'm super passionate about
Mm.
is not stigmatising it
Yeah.
and not making people feel like there's something wrong with them. This is
Yeah.
an epidemic. There are millions of people that have been drinking because of so many reasons.
Yeah.
And if you drink a toxic, highly addictive substance enough, you will become addicted. And it doesn't have anything to do with your willpower or your
Hmm.
intellect.
Yeah.
It is just a very destructive habit. And the important thing that I believe needs to be more embraced in our culture is not drinking is the aspirational lifestyle, not
Mm.
the other way around.
Yeah.
Not drinking is the most freeing, rewarding thing that I think I've ever done. And I know
Mm.
you've said a similar thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a little bit painful at first
Mm.
to let go of because it's a crutch, it's a tool.
Yes.
But once you become educated on what it's doing to you from a scientific perspective, which is horrifying,
Mm.
what it's doing to you physically, what it's doing to you mentally, what it's doing to your potential, what it's
Mm.
doing to change the way your brain functions,
Yeah.
and then experiencing what life is like without it with a support of aspirational people that
Mm.
are living extraordinary alcohol-free lives,
Mm.
not telling you you're an alcoholic or you're this terrible person.
Mm.
um, I talk about the joy of missing out. That's my uh, catchphrase,
Hmm.
because you're missing out on a whole load of unhealthy, horrible feelings and illnesses and poor sleep. I mean, there's so much that you miss out on when you don't drink.
Yes. And look, we have talked about a few of them because alcohol does impact physical safety. Is there any other ways that it shows up that we haven't spoken about you wanted to mention as well so people can kind of see
Right.
the joy?
Well, there's the physical safety, but I think most importantly, it's mental health.
Mm,
And we have enough anxiety and stress in our lives as it is.
hmm.
Alcohol causes anxiety.
Yeah.
The more you drink it, the more anxious you become. So the more you drink it to resolve the anxiety that it's actually causing.
Yeah.
The amount of people that I've spoken to that have stopped drinking and said their anxiety is completely gone.
Wow.
So it causes anxiety, it causes depression,
Hmm.
it causes 7 types of cancer.
Mm,
Women drinking in perimenopause is the perfect storm.
hmm.
The increase in breast cancer goes up by, I think, around 30%
Wow.
because the hormones are being, the processing of the hormones is the body will process the alcohol first, so it will ignore the hormones, and that's when you get the build-up
Hmm.
of estrogen in the body and things like breast cancer as a result.
Yeah. Wow.
People, again, don't understand that. Perimenopause, so many women are experiencing anxiety in their mid 40s,
Hmm.
drinking to resolve it, not realizing that this is hormonal.
Mm,
So that's one big message that I'm very passionate about for women. If you are
mm.
at that stage in life, go and see your doctor. It's not natural for you to be feeling this anxious.
Yeah.
Perimenopause is horrific, or at
Mm,
least it was for me.
hmm.
And the anxiety is perimenopausal. Don't
Mm,
be drinking it away. Get the hormone replacements, whatever you need to do
hmm.
to feel better. I mean, I could go on about the negative impact of alcohol, but ultimately it makes you feel like, you know,
Crap.
crap. It does.
Yeah.
And ultimately you've got to ask, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah. And it causes issues at work as well. Like we do and say things that we wouldn't normally. And a lot of workplaces talk about, responsible drinking at functions and events.
Hmm.
At Christmas time, I worked for big organizations and would do big presentations on, hey, we might be having Christmas parties and we might be having awards events, but remember, we still work for an organization, and this is what sexual harassment is, and this is what we need to be aware of.
Right, right.
Oh, it was a big thing, and we're actually going to be developing a program to help people do that with their organizations now. But basically, they just say, don't do it. Here's the code. Here's our code of conduct. Don't come to work hungover or drunk if you're going out on the weekend or, are working on the weekend. But can you share some practical steps that organizations can take to actually create safer and healthier workplaces around alcohol?
Well, firstly, the idea of responsible drinking makes me laugh because it's like take an addictive substance responsibly. And, in all fairness, some people can
Yeah.
drink responsibly.
Mm,
Many find it very difficult. So they're going to events with this responsible drinking thing, and they're getting there and they want to have a drink. They don't just want to have one.
mm,
And once you start the process, I know, I was like that. Once I started, it was game on, right? It was
yeah.
very difficult for me to stop.
Yeah.
But if you're trying for whatever reason to cut back or quit, and you go to these functions and you have an option of a Coke or a water or the plethora of alcohol that's available to you, what
Hmm.
choice are you going to make?
Yeah. The
So,
free one.
right? Because it's hard not to drink for a lot of people. So we need to firstly make it easy for people not to drink
Mm,
in our work environments. And when I say easy, I mean have alternatives that are interesting, not just boring soft drinks or sugary mocktails.
hmm.
There's enough alcohol-free alternatives out there now that you can offer at least an alcohol-free champagne for people.
Mm,
You'd be surprised how many people would love that.
hmm.
So have a really decent range of alcohol-free alternatives at your events. Um, Don't make all your events about drinking.
Mm.
There's a lot of other things that you can do. Um, have your leaders, this is the ideal scenario, have your leaders actively promoting not drinking as an empowering lifestyle choice,
Mm-hmm.
not something miserable. If your boss drinks, the chances of you being able to quit are severely impaired.
Yeah.
And I hear this all the time, but my boss called me over. I'm trying not to drink, but my boss said, come and have a glass of wine. And there's that empower balance, right?
Yeah.
And this is where the education comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So, educating your HR leaders or people that are in a position to be role models for people,
Mm.
educate them about their own drinking habits, offer
Mm-hmm.
people aspirational opportunities to either quit or cut back.
Mm.
You can do 30-day programs with staff, they can have one on one work, although I believe group work is much more powerful.
Yep.
Ask your staff, would they be interested in doing a challenge?
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that are silently struggling
Mm.
who would love for someone to offer them a hand that's not, a ticking of the, don't you drink, but
Mm.
a hand of genuine support and possibility. Because there's so much possible for people when you remove alcohol out of the equation.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Really good point. And just to wrap up um, this chat, it's been incredible. What's one mindset set shift or a first step that you'd like listeners to take away from this conversation?
Well, it's pretty extreme, but I would ask people to really question, is it normal and natural to regularly consume a substance that is slowly killing you?
Mm,
It's pretty extreme, but it's the reality. And nobody wants to talk about it because it's
yeah.
all a bit of fun and a laugh. But the more we now understand about alcohol, it's horrifying
Mm,
what it's doing to people, to their kids, to their families. And it's time we woke up because we need to create a shift.
mm,
And I believe that it's, our duty as parents, as leaders, to be the first to jump.
mhm, definitely.
Someone's got to go first. So, and it's not like it's, to me, and I know you've experienced it too, once you get past the initial discomfort,
Mm,
life is never the same.
mm, so
It's a,
much better.
it's so much better. I mean, at the very least, what is it like to get a decent night's sleep? Restorative deep sleep, weight comes off,
Mm-hmm.
feel good about yourself, you're
Yeah.
clear of mind, you've got energy, you're focused, you're motivated.
Yeah.
Um, there is no downside, in my opinion, to not drinking a toxic addictive substance.
Yes. I love that. And I might add something if that's okay.
Of course.
Because alcohol's the only drug that you get questioned as to
Mm,
why you don't take it. I say when people ask me if I want to drink that I don't drink, and people ask why. So I think instead of if someone does say that to you, instead of asking why or if they're pregnant or, thinking different things, say that's great.
mm.
I think that will help with the culture shift as well because it's not a problem that we don't drink.
No,
It's actually fantastic.
I think that's such a great point. I'm really glad that you said that
Mm,
because it's something I often forget because I'm so used to being asked now that I'm very comfortable with it. But somebody that's not drinking,
mm,
especially in the early days, it's one of their biggest fears. Why
yeah.
aren't you drinking?
Mm,
I'm going to be judged. I'm going to be excluded.
yeah.
So I love that you've said that. Just say, good on you.
Yeah. Well done. That's
Well
great.
done. Or, well, can I get you a nice alcohol-free drink?
Yes.
Something nice.
Yes.
Because you could unknowingly change the trajectory of that person's journey.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
They may be struggling. So saying
Right.
that's great is a much better way to look at things than why.
100%. Yeah.
Mm. Sarah, thank you so much for this chat. It has been incredible. Alcohol in the workplace does cause a lot of challenges. And I think if we can look at it differently, it will help improve safety, physical and psychological safety. And I love the work that you're doing. So if people want to connect with you and learn more, what's the best way for them to do that?
So my website is just my name, sarahconnelly.com.au. You can contact me through there or Instagram or LinkedIn. And I'm open to any questions, and just really connecting with people and finding out what they're struggling with, particularly in organisations.
Hmm.
I can offer workshops and support for your leading teams,
Yep.
education, fun, most importantly.
Yes.
And yeah, I have programs, group programs for individuals as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you again, Sarah. And for listeners, if you found this conversation valuable, please subscribe and share it. We'll see you next time on Under the Rug at Work, where we continue to shine light on issues that are too often overlooked.